Hello everyone, and welcome back to eCabinets Tips and Tricks. My name is Scott Marshburn, and this is part 3 of how to draw a raised panel trunk in eCabinets. In this video I want to show you how you can make a photorealistic rendering of this trunk. And the way to do that is you need to have this trunk in custom layout. You can do a JPG image by using this feature here, but as you can see, it's just not all that great looking. It doesn't look realistic. So what I'm going to do is, or what I have done is in custom layout, if I click on this icon here, it's going to bring up this screen because I'm in Cabinet Editor, telling me that it has not been saved. I've already saved it in my library, so I'm just going to click on yes or no to not save it, and it's going to bring me right into custom layout where I have already put my trunk in the room. You can't put a cabinet in custom layout without having a wall, so I had to draw a wall here, and I just brought it in and kind of put it out in the middle here. And another thing I've done was when I got it in the room, I clicked on it and I clicked on the wall so that they're both highlighted, and then right click, and under wall options I associated the cabinet to the wall, or the trunk in this case. And if I go into elevation view here, you can see that the cabinet is visible. If it was not associated to the wall and you went into elevation view, you would not see the cabinet. And I'll show you why that's important here in just a minute. What I'm going to do is put some lights in here to help with the presentation view. If I click on render here, this eyeball right now without having any lights in here, first of all you'll see that it's showing the floor and the wall itself. In this particular case, I don't want the wall or the floor visible, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to show hide, and I'm going to click on walls. I want to hide every wall in custom layout. I also want to hide the floor. As you can see down here, phantom parts is already checked. If this is not checked, you're going to want to check it too, so it doesn't show any phantom parts that you may have in your cabinet. So I'm going to click OK, and as you can see, it went away. Now, if I go ahead and render this thing just like it is, it's going to look pretty good, but it's not going to be as good as it can be. So let me click on presentation view and we'll see how it comes out. It's kind of dark looking. The top, has a real dark shadow on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click done, and I'm going to go back into my overhead view here, and right now I'm going to add just one light. Normally I put 3 lights in here. I have a main light, or the one that does most of the work, to highlight it, and then I have a fill light, and I generally try to place it on a 45-degree angle. Then I have a fill light that I put in to help soften the shadows that this light projects, and then a backlight to help give it some light on the top and kind of make it stand out. But I'm going to do it one at a time just to show you how the different lights and where you position them can have a dramatic effect on this trunk here. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over here and go to light fixtures. Now I'm going to be using this lamp here. There's other lights here that you can use. These little inset lights, they work real good for doing like little spotlight details. For example, if you want to enhance the lighting on your countertop, you could put these up underneath the upper cabinets, but we're not going to be using that in this video. I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to put it, try to put it on a kind of a 45-degree angle to our trunk here, and kind of put it maybe right along there. I'm going to hit my escape key. I'm going to click on it and click on my wall, and I'm going to, under wall options, I'm going to associate it to the wall. Now if I go into elevation view, you can see that this is at the very top of the wall. I'm going to want to move it down. If I come over here, you'll see in move increments, I got my objects at a 1/2 inch. I can leave it at that and just hit my shift key and my down arrow key, and it will move it down in 1/2 inch increments, so I can change this to whatever I want. But I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to hold down my control key and right click, and I can just drag it down. Now I can move it any direction I want, left, right, up or down. I'm going to leave it just slightly higher than the top of our trunk there. Now if I go under render here, the eyeball, and rotate it, zoom in here, I want my light fixture to still be visible. So we can play with the lighting there. I'm going to click on presentation view and let it render. It's on 50. Let's bump it up to about 70 here. And re-render. Okay, that did a little bit better. You can see how it's casting shadows over here and on the top. Let's put it on 80 and render. Okay, now we're looking pretty good. But we still need to get rid of these shadows. So another thing too, while I'm here, right now if I right click on this and I click on adjust shine, you see that it has absolutely no shine. Now you can click on 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever, and apply shine to it. But what I found out is that even 10 is just too shiny. It just reflects the light too much and it doesn't look that good. So what I'm going to do, you're going to need to have some sort of shine on this thing to really get the true effect from the lighting. So I'm going to come down here to shine, or to my dialog settings. Just move your mouse cursor all the way to the bottom and it will pop up, and you see right here under shine, you can move these in 1 degree or whatever it measures it by increments, all the way up to 100. I'm going to change it to 1 just to show you here what happens. It's not going to be that much of an effect on it, if any, simply because I did not click on apply dialog settings. When you're using this right here, when you change its number, you need to right click and click apply dialog settings and then render it again. And it still probably isn't going to be that dramatic. So let me go to back down here and let's change this to 5, and right click and apply dialog settings and render. you can see, because we don't have a whole lot of lighting in here to start with, it did not do that good. So let's go done and back into overhead view or floor plan view, and let's put another lamp in here. Let's go this angle, but this time we want to be at a pretty good distance and at a pretty good angle here. And I'm going to go ahead and put a backlighting in here. And you want to kind of try to create a triangle, if you will, with our lights there. I'm going to click on this one and my wall, and wall options, and associate to wall. Go back into my elevation view, and I'm just going to hold my control key down, my right mouse button, and I'm going to put this one just maybe a little bit higher than this one here. Now I need to move this one down, and I want this one to be the highest so that it projects light over the top coming this way, in this direction. So I'm going to go to render again, and let's see how that looks. I'll zoom in where I can still get a hold of my lights. Zoom in as far as I can. And presentation view. Now as you can see, this is already a lot better. This light right here is just a little bit too bright, and it looks like it may need to be moved over in this direction because we still have quite a bit of shadow here. You see a real bright here and pretty bright right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go done and back into here, and I'm going to move this thing. I'll click on it, left click, hold my control key down. I'm going to move it in a little bit closer and more to the front. And as you can see, we're getting a real good triangle here. So I'm going to hit my escape key and render again. Put my shift key down and use my mouse to rotate it around. And re-render. Now that looks really good, but this light is too bright, so I'm going to adjust the light intensity. I'm going to put it down to about 30, and we can play with the light intensity and more detail by using this button or this area right here, and the same thing, right click and apply dialog settings. So I'm going to see what 30 does. So I'm going to do render, and that is looking really good. So we got some glare coming off of this, a little bit dark here. So I'm going to go back, and like I said, you know, I'm playing with this a lot. It depends on how much detail and how professional looking you want it or need it to be. I'm just showing you mostly because so that you can learn how to do this. Let's put that just about dead on there. Move it a little bit further back there and render. The more you play around with this, the more proficient you'll get. You know, it takes, just like anything else, it takes practice. And this is a real good subject to practice with. So let's render this joker again and see what we got. Okay. Let's see what this light intensity is. It's on 50. Let's put it up to 60. It's casting a little bit more shadow, but that's still, you could tell it did a little bit better there. Let's see what this one, I think we had it at 30. Let's move it up to 40 and render. Okay, now we're looking real good. So now we got something that we're happy with. As you can see, these lights are just in the way, period. So what I'm going to do, so now that I got my lighting like I like it, I'm going to go done, and I'm going to right click in here and go to show hide again, and I want to hide my light fixtures. Anything you got checked in here is going to be hidden. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here for my final rendering, or hopefully my final rendering. Click on presentation view. Okay. All that looks pretty good, but this is just too bright right in here for me. So click done and show hide. Need to see my light fixtures again, and I can barely see that one right there, so I'm going to move over. Let's see, that's not the one I'm wanting. That's the one I'm wanting. I'm going to go ahead and click on presentation view. What I could do is I can move this further away and more to the side here, but before I go through all that, I'm going to, right now we're on 80, so let's go down to 70 and render. That's a lot better, and we may be a little bit too close, you know, like I said. Let's try that and see what happens. I'm going to hold down my control key and I'm going to move it out and to the back, like that. Now you can see getting a real good triangle pattern here. Back to render. Let's see what we got. Okay, now that looks real nice. So maybe we can zoom in enough we don't have to hide our lights, but I reckon we are. I think I might have it right there. So I'm going to click on render. Nope, I've got a little big old light right there in the way. But that looks good. That looks real nice right there. So I'm going to click on stop render and go done, and right click, show hide, and hide my light fixtures. Let's show you something here while I'm in here. Show hide. Right here it says cabinet lines and edges when fully rendered. As you can see, I have them unchecked. If you have a lot of sharp edges or lines, black lines in here that you don't like, you can click on this and it'll hide those also. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click presentation view and let it render again, just to see what that looks like when we click that. And there you have a really nice photorealistic rendering of my raised panel trunk. Now you can create a slideshow by, if you want, by clicking on JPG and saving that in a folder or whatever. As you can see, I've got several already in here. You would just name it like view 1, view 2, view 3, whatever, and save each one. But I'm not going to do that now. Like you would save this angle, and you could rotate it around, you know, for that view, and render that, and save that, and just different angles or whatever, and you can create a little slideshow that you can send your customer or put on your website to help sell this thing. I hope this video helped. If you have any questions or comments or any suggestions for future videos that you would like to see, please post them on my channel or shoot me an email at eCabinetstipsandtricks@gmail.com. Thank you for watching and have a good day.